Great Debaters Contest is brought to you by Safaricom M-Pesa.
Welcome to the Great Debaters Contest. We're in Machakos region, and I am Austin Nyambok.
And I am Mariam Bishar, and today we have the creme de la creme of debate from Makueni girls and Machakos boys going head to head. They're debating on whether embracing African culture is the best way to a better and united Africa. We'll leave them to it. Proposer number 1, you have 3 minutes.
An African saying says, don't tear down a fence until you find out why it was put up in the first place. I am Dennis Daniel Katungi, representing the Great Machakos School. We are solemnly defending the motion that says embracing African culture is the best avenue for a united Africa. Embracing is simply following a set of beliefs that you find there. Culture is what we found there after birth. Culture is the way of life that we followed until we stopped following it. And the best avenue is the best truth. Unity, we all know what unity is. Unity is what keeps us going. Without unity, we will be nowhere. Speaking of what is keeping us going, Africa, we are going nowhere without unity. South Africa is what it is today because they united under one flag. The geothermal chimneys in South Africa are painted the flag of South Africa. What is that showing you? We are united by not by our mistakes, but our strengths. Marriage and polygamy was a thing that brought unity. Communities will become allies through marriage, polygamy. That reduced the chances of war. But now look what's happening here. Somalia is fighting Kenya. Kenya is fighting Somalia. We have no order in Africa. The people who try to bring up the motion are actually convicted. Look at Mohammed Gaddafi. Look at Mohammed Gaddafi. Judge Major, I know you drank tea in the morning. Wrong, true. Tea or juice with bread. That's something that wasn't there in the past. People worked hard so that they will get something to eat. That's githeri, that's ugali, that's rice. And you can't say it's something that has come up now. No. That thing was there in the past. We ate what we reaped and sowed. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what you're saying, but I solemnly deny that the Western culture is better than ours. Because the Japanese make you think that they eat bread and tea, but in reality they eat octopi and snails, and they are proud of it. Look at Africa. We are strongly against gayism. Do you know that's making us united? If Africans don't want gayism, I think from the Westerners, we are uniting actually to defend our morals. And that's why even in the media, any media station showing moral things is being delocalized by the youth as boring. They opt for soaps and action movies that are not Africans. King Solomon said, if one man can chase 100, then 2 can chase thousands. If Africans, we unite under our culture and our customs, we will have no much in the world.
Opening statements by the opposition, you have 3 minutes.
Karen Apuch, Makueni girls. Embracing simply means including or accepting something to what you've got. Culture, people's way of life. Making progress towards something that's simply avenue. Being united in an agreement, that means being united. Keeping together is a beginning. Coming together is a progress. Working together is a success. But who said we become united just because of culture? Can't we get united through other avenues? Is it culture that can unite us as Africans? No, there are other avenues that can unite us as Africans. For instance, education. We are all here because of education. That is an avenue that has united us as Africans. We are all Africans. And Judge Nancy, I believe you can testify to this. Education in your place, Daystar. Daystar is not only comprised of Africans. of only Kenyans, for instance. We have Africans from other countries, Morocco, South Africa. That's education, an avenue that is uniting Africans. That's not culture. Africans, we are getting united through trade. For example, our trade blocks. The ECOWAS uniting, and the trade bloc ECOWAS, through the trade is uniting Africans. ECOWAS representing the western region, SADC the southern region, and EAC the eastern region. Is that culture? No. Africa is getting united through the peacekeeping nations. For instance, the UN. Remember the post-election violence that was there in Zimbabwe. Thabo Mbeki went and united these people. Our honorable Mr. Robert Mugabe and Mr. Morgan, they were united by the peacekeeping nations. Is that culture? No. Culture is not the only thing that you can unite Africans. We are getting united through the democracy, our government. When the government officials meet, you are proud. This is my government that is uniting me with the other government. Is that culture? No, this is the government that is uniting Africans. We all love unity, but is it only unity that can bring, is it only culture that can bring unity? Totally no, no, no. I think we would change this to embracing the culture is an avenue that can unite Africans, but simply not the best. Africa is getting united. For example, the technology. Technology is uniting us as Africans. There's the media. You can WhatsApp somebody, you can tweet them, not simply from Kenya. You can tweet somebody who is in Sudan. That is not culture. Culture is not the only thing that can unite Africans. You have an ambassador from the other country to your country. You are united. For example, the Moroccans are very proud that we have our ambassador in their country. Is that culture? That is an avenue that is uniting us as Africans. For example, the culture, in fact, has done us a lot of effect. Why would we get blinded? I believe that it is the culture that can unite us. So please, this is civilization with meaning. Culture is not the best avenue to unite Africans. Thank you.
Time now for rebuttals. Proposer number 2, you have 3 minutes.
A man without wife is like a flower without a vase. These are some of African proverbs that enhanced unity among Africans in the past, but currently we are being corrupt with the Shakespeare literature. I'm Simon Mutua from the Machakos School. Strongly and firmly giving hand the emotion, embracing African culture is the best avenue for a better Africa. My friends, my colleagues, we didn't say that is the only avenue for a united Africa. It's the best avenue. The term best means is a superlative term in English, which means you have compared the African culture with other more than 2 factors. And then the UN, the United Organization of Nations. It simply uses peace as their main factor. Peace is the main culture that was used, the main culture enhanced by Africans. They have just adapted what we use. Have a look on our clothing. Just recently on the media, My Dress, My Choice has brought chaos between our mothers and our daughters, our gentlemen with our ladies. If we stuck to our very own culture, would these crop up? Would these crop up? My audience, will these crop up if we stuck to our own clothing system? Have a look on the ceremonies. The Ghanaian, they are missing the Odura festival by the Asante. This festival enhanced unity among them. They are missing them because they are trying to adapt to culture that were not meant to be theirs since ever the beginning. Our culture does not enhance tribalism, does not promote racism. You know all these where they came from. They came from our brothers who came to colonize us in the name of liberating us. Yet we know what they were coming from. Our food. We eat what we planted and what we harvested. Currently as we speak, we eat what has been made, has gone in industry, has been added. Other things you don't know, we don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, my fellow colleagues, join me. Africa will tend to drag behind as they are busy trying to adapt to cultural practices that were not meant for us. Their peace the unity in Africa will tend to drag behind, will tend to rule Africa if we don't stick to our own cultural practices. I will give you the remedy of this unity among Africans. And the remedy is embracing our very own culture that we had ever since the beginning. The one that we had since ever the creation. That will be the remedy of this unity among Africans. My colleague, join me. It's clear, it's vivid that trying to adapt to cultures that were not meant for us, what it leads to lead to disunity, fights. African presidents are trying to come for cohesion to promote unity. But Muammar Gaddafi, Nelson Mandela will tell you that those people who are trying to adapt them, they are not for it. They will tell you that. Join me, my colleagues. Thank you.
Opposition, you also have 3 minutes for a rebuttal.
A great philosopher once said, change has its enemies. Elizabeth Peter Makueni Girls High School. You're talking about you shouldn't tear down the fence. No, as the opposers, we're just trying to borrow ideas from westernization to build the fence up, to clear up the cracks that are in our fence, in our African unity. What is unity without peace? That's why we are crying that these organizations like UN are bringing peace into our community, into our continent. Why should we tear them down? Why should we throw them away? You're talking about intermarriages. As we know, African culture is so resistant to change. They resisted religion. They resisted education. So, how come you're bringing this thing about intermarriages where we correctly know that African communities don't encourage intermarriages? They don't encourage intermarriages between community. What about between countries? Where is the peace coming in? Where is the unity coming in? So this is why you should be embracing westernization. Polygamy, seriously? Who does that nowadays? Polygamy has brought about many diseases. AIDS doesn't live in trees. AIDS is with us. So when you're encouraging polygamy, think about AIDS. It has no cure. Think about STDs. Ask that question in your mind. Food. How does African food unite Africa? You're telling me that fufu from Nigeria and ugali from Kenya, when they come together, they'll unite us? You're not serious. Okay, gayism. You told us that gayism, Africans are against gayism. That's correct. But it's all about choices. We are embracing westernization because it has brought positive things towards us. We know that African culture has dark parts, like FGM, seriously. It has brought dark things to our country, to our continent as Africans. They are talking about my dress, my choice. It's my choice. So you want us to go back and put on the hides and skins? Seriously, what's better? This uniform that I'm putting on or some bark of a tree? Which is better? As we know, culture is diverse, especially African culture. For instance, Kenya has 47 tribes. We all portray our culture. So, how will we get united? And in fact, culture, they don't encourage racism, yes, but they do encourage tribalism. I, as a Kisii, won't be ready to interact with you as a Kikuyu or as a Luo because you're not of my culture. You're not of my tribe, sorry. We have different cultural practices. So explain to me how seriously will this culture, this diversity of culture, unite us as one Africa. That's why we are saying we should be embracing westernization and coming together as one people, one voice, one Africa. Just to add on, technology. These cameras we're using is technology. Africans, you want to mean that you should go back to using smoke for technology, for communication. We really need to embrace westernization. It has brought more good than harm. Once again, Elizabeth Peter Makueni Girls High School.
Safaricom, you want to try it. You want to try it, you want to try it, cause it's just a better option. You want to try it, you want to try it, you want to try it, cause it's just a better option.
Take part in the M Challenge by sending your short song, rap or poem about Safaricom M-Pesa on WhatsApp, and you could win 1,000 shillings in Safaricom airtime.
the proposers have been asked to name other cultures that Africans have embraced aside from their own, and the opposers have been challenged to talk about polygamy, and because it's here with us today, yet they say that they don't want to go back to retrogressive cultures. So we'll let them answer the questions. Proposer number 3, you have 3 minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Isaac Moutanya from the great Machakos School. One lady has asked that I should name some of the other cultures that Africa has embraced apart from our own. Look at technology. Our fellow opposer has talked about cameras. Now look at cameras. Don't they record pornographic videos? They do. And what happens? It gets to our younger generation. What does that bring about? A generation of wickedness, contrary to the Bible. What does it bring? It brings wickedness. Look at technology. I've given you an example. I've given you a quite diverse example, and that is technology. Now, look at Congo. Congo is one of the leading producers of gold. When the whites saw that gold was in Congo, what did they do? They saw that we were so unified, we had that unity that they couldn't get to our gold. So what did they do? They came to separate us. You get? They came to separate us. And after separating us, they also came in a way to bring us together. What are they doing? They came to break our unity and our peace. We had peace before they came. What did they come to do? They came to disorganize us so that they can get way to get to our gold. And that is very, very wrong. Embracing their culture shall not help us in any way. Let me tell you one thing. Our judge major here said he woke up in the morning and took tea. But what did we used to take? We used to take ngwashe, ndoma, very healthy foods that used to disseminate energy slowly by slowly. According to researchers, that's what they say. What does sugar do to your body? It brings an excitement for a while. Then what happens at the end of the day? Excitement is down. What do you need again? You need the sugar. Look at Japan. Japan embraced their own culture. They don't take sugar. They know sugar will enlighten you. Then what happens the next time? You're down. I need that sugar. You go for it again. You're down. I need that sugar. It's just spoiling our culture. It's not uniting us. It's just disseminating us. Let me urge you today. Stick to our culture. Stick to the culture that South Africa embraced. Look at Nelson Mandela. What did he do? He was there to embrace their culture. Where are they now? Are they like Kenya, who just adapt foreign cultures? No, we should stick to our own cultures. We should stick to our own African culture. The African culture that promoted unity. The African culture that whoever came by couldn't pass through because they knew what they wanted. Join me and my colleagues as we say that the foreign cultures shall not help us, shall not unify us, but our own African culture will unify us. Thank you.
Opposition, you have 3 minutes to respond.
Diana Julie, Makueni Girls. Thank you, Miss Felicitas of Matu Memorial, for the question that you posed to us. I actually expected it. You asked about polygamy. It's there with us. What are we talking about? We are talking about embracing other cultures, other avenues, other factors that are going to unite us as Africans. We are not against the African culture. If it can unite us in ways which are positive, then let us embrace it. But is it the best avenue? No. You're talking about taking gouache every morning. How is that uniting us? It's far much better of helping you become healthy more than uniting us as Africans. You're against westernization, saying that it is bringing us more harm than good. Then, what about the other avenues, such as education? Are they harming us? No, they are not. When you talk about technology, I tell you, my dear friends, it's all about choices. That's when it all hits through us that life is a matter of choices. choices. Choices have got consequences. You make a right choice, you suffer its own consequences. Make a wrong choice, you suffer your own consequences. That's why, from the beginning, when God created the world, Adam and Eve had a choice. They were to make a choice about eating the fruit from the middle of the tree of the Garden of Eden or not. What did they take? They decided to obey God. They suffered their consequences, didn't they? They were chased from the wonderful Garden of Eden. So, my dear friends, about technology. Technology is the song that you're trying to sing. But let me tell you, it's all about choices. Let's make our own choices. Choices that are good, and no one is going to fight us. A good culture is characterized by change. African culture is known to be so rigid. You don't want to take change. But let me tell you, as my colleague said, change has got its own enemies. Thank you.
We'll now have closing submissions, beginning with Machakos boys. You have 1 minute.
Ladies and gentlemen, they say we were colonized, but actually what they were trying to do was not colonize us. They were trying to make us photocopies of them. Yes, there were bad cultures, but those bad cultures are not what made us who we are today. But those which we carried ahead are what made us who we are. They speak of choices. You think the whites came to give you a choice? No. They came to remove it from your mind. Because if you are given a Lamborghini or a donkey, you'll go for the Lamborghini because they eroded your mind into thinking they are the better choice. You don't think of yourselves as the better option. You think of others as the better option. And that's what's making us disunited. Xenophobia in South Africa, I need not speak about that. You know what's happening. Because we don't have a choice. AIDS came from US. It came from the Westerners. So we, undertaking polygamy was not a big deal. They think culture is not the best avenue. They think it's too small. But as Anthony Buluma told me this morning, and what he made me realize is that if you want to know, you don't have to be small to make a difference. Try living as a mosquito.
Opposers, you have 1 minute for your final submission.
According to Mrs. Omolulu Ogbeni, a great philosopher, she said, "Those who don't imitate anything produce nothing." Elizabeth Peter, once again, Makueni Girls High School. You're talking about embracing our African culture. All we're trying to do is give you other better avenues that have worked, that are working, and that will continue working to unite a better, fun, loving, caring Africa. Okay, now, when you're talking about AIDS being brought for USA, where is the proof? I need to know that. But did the Westerns tell you to go sleeping around? No. So we as Africans, we should not just be thinking about our diverse culture. We should be thinking about other things that will make us grow together, come together. You know that no man is an island. We should borrow ideas from the rest. If no man is an island, no country is an island, no continent can do it alone. So we should stand out as one Africa, one people, one voice. Elizabeth Peter, Makueni Girls.
From where I sit, we have cultures within Africa, but not necessarily an African culture. And so from that point on then, when we say that we are embracing that there's an African culture that is the best avenue for a better and united Africa, that when you have cultures within Africa, that automatically then there is a lot of room for disunity because of the clashes within those respective cultures. And so with that, the challenge was that, and this came from the two teams, that it was difficult to pinpoint what is the African culture. We struggled with all manner of things, talking about sugar and ngwashe and, all manner of things. And the question is, does eating ngwashe constitute an African culture? And so, for me, other than the topic and the coherency of argument, which was a challenge for the two groups, you know. Your style and presentation was one of the things that I graded highly, your mastery of language and your passion and conviction.
Makueni girls have 69.3%. Please give them a big hand. Machakos boys have 65.9. That means Makueni girls are the winners of this debate. We'll see you next time. I am Mariam Bishar.
And I am Austin Nyambok. Thank you for watching.
The Great Debaters Contest was brought to you by Safaricom M-Pesa.